Store-bought bagels are mid. There, I said it, and I know you're thinking the same thing too, because when we flip it over, look at these macros. What's going on? We can do better. So instead, we're doing these high-protein New York-style bagels with the same yeasty taste and texture that you'd find at a classic bagel shop. And for those of you who have never made a bread or yeast-based recipe before, please let this be your first one. They're so easy, and you will feel so proud of yourself afterwards. To start, I bloomed some active dry yeast in a mixture of warm water and honey. And then in a separate bowl, we're doing all of our dry ingredients. So it's all-purpose flour, vital wheat gluten, which is going to give us that high protein content, a little bit of dough conditioner, aka Fleischmann's bread booster. You can also use any other brand, and a little bit of salt. I mixed it up just a little bit, and then I added some white vinegar, which is going to assist with making our bagels nice and soft. Give it a little mix, and then we're gonna go back to our yeast mixture from earlier. And all you gotta do is just add it in small increments, just like you can see here, until the dough is shaggy and you can no longer mix it with the utensil that you're using. At this point, you can just dump it onto a clean surface and start working it with your hands. Just knead it for about like 3 to 5 minutes. It really doesn't take that long until it forms a cohesive ball of dough and it is nice and smooth. And when you're done, you can just put it back in the bowl from earlier, cover it with plastic wrap, and let it proof for about an hour, and it should double in size just like this. Okay, so for this step, we are going to weigh and portion out the dough. This recipe calls for 4 servings, and when divided evenly into 4 pieces, each piece should weigh about 100 grams. The next step is shaping the bagels. So whatever pieces that aren't in use, you can just cover them with plastic wrap so they don't dry out. Shaping is pretty straightforward. You just gotta flatten out each piece, tuck in all the edges and corners, pinch the top to create tension, and then to secure that tension, just flip it over and roll it a couple times until you have a nice tight ball. Now you can poke a hole in the center and then just use your fingers to keep stretching out the hole. And I would say make it a little bit wider than you anticipate, because when we do the second rise and when we get to the boiling step, the hole will shrink just a little bit, so just keep that in mind. Cover it with plastic wrap, and then we're just going to repeat the same steps for the rest of the bagels. Cover and rest for 30 minutes, and then in the meantime, you can preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. And now is the best time to prepare any toppings, which is completely optional, but I like pepper jack cheese, so I went ahead and shredded some up. And at this point, the bagel should be done rising, so you can start a pot of boiling water, or you can use a saucepan like I did, and boil each bagel for a total of 1 minute, flipping halfway at the 30-second mark. And this step is really important because it gives the bagels that classic chewy texture that we all know and love, as well as the shine, so you won't even need to brush any sort of egg wash or milk on top of it afterwards.
Bruh.
When the bagels are done, you can transfer them onto a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and make sure you give them adequate spacing because these do puff up pretty well in the oven, and you want to make sure they don't stick together. And also, make sure they're facing right side up so your bagels come out smooth. And this is the time where you can add the toppings. As you can see here, I added the pepper jack cheese from earlier, and then bake them in the oven at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes. I usually go for like around 22 minutes because I find it gives me the perfect shade of golden brown. And these literally look so good. Like, can we just acknowledge that for a second? Like, the grocery store could never. And I know it's gonna be so tempting to just eat these straight off the tray just as they come out of the oven, but for the love of God, just let them cool down completely before you cut into them. Otherwise, it's gonna turn doughy and you're gonna be left with a bagel that didn't hold its shape. And as long as you follow that last step, you will be left with a perfect protein bagel. And to enjoy these, I just like to toast them, slap some cream cheese, a little bit of smoked salmon, and that's the easiest 40 grams of protein for me in the morning. Best part about this, you don't even have to limit yourself to breakfast. You can have these at any time of the day. Give this video a like, sub to my channel, and if you end up trying these, let me know how you like them in the comments. Bye!